This story right here is one of the most explosive, controversial, and wildly debated conversations happening in hip-hop right now. We're talking about the claims surrounding NBA YoungBoy, the allegations floating around from documentary creators, bloggers, commentators, and internet detectives who swear the Baton Rouge superstar is tied to nearly 20 bodies. And before anything else, let's get something straight. This entire conversation is built on speculation, rumors, online theories, and a whole lot of storytelling that people treat like evidence. This video isn't here to accuse anybody of anything. It's here to break down how these stories get created, why they spread so fast, and why hip-hop journalism needs responsibility more than ever. Now let's set the stage. NBA YoungBoy didn't just rise into rap, he blasted into it with a fan base that moves like a small nation. He grew up in a violent environment, surrounded by relentless pressure, street politics, loss, and survival. When you come from that kind of background, your name becomes a magnet for rumors. Every tragedy in the city somehow gets attached to you. Every shooting becomes a conspiracy. Every enemy becomes a confirmed target, even when there's no real proof. That's how mythology builds around rappers, especially rappers who live on the edge and rap about that reality. Then, out of nowhere, a wave of creators online began piecing together incidents, beefs, lyrics, and street speculation to paint this picture of YoungBoy being part of an entire web of violence. Some creators claimed they traced nearly 20 different cases and conflicts, all loosely connected through Baton Rouge street politics, rivalries, friends, enemies, and people who just happened to be in the wrong place at the wrong time. The problem is, the internet doesn't know the difference between a real court case and a Reddit thread. It doesn't separate what was actually proven from what was whispered in a comment section. And once a narrative picks up steam, it becomes true in people's minds, even if none of it would hold up in front of a judge or jury. And that's the exact crossroads where hip-hop finds itself today. We've got massive platforms discussing real people, real lives, and real deaths, but turning them into content for entertainment, debate, and shock value. People throw out accusations like they're trading cards. They'll take a tragedy from 2017, a lyric from 2020, a rumor from someone's cousin's homeboy, and wrap it all together like it's a verified story. Meanwhile, the person at the center of it is an actual human being with kids, family, legal battles, and enough pressure on his shoulders to crush a mountain. The internet wants everything to be a movie. It wants every rapper to be a kingpin, every beef to be a war, every rumor to be a fact. And that's how these wild claims, like the 19 bodies narrative, blow up. Because people love mystery. They love danger. They love the idea of an artist having some mythic shadow behind them. But when those myths involve dead people and grieving families, it stops being entertainment and starts being disrespectful. This is why we need responsible hip-hop journalism. You can break down history, analyze beefs, explore culture, and document tragedies. But you gotta do it with honesty, clarity, and respect for the truth. You can't take assumptions and call them evidence. You can't take a theory and call it fact. You can't take someone's name and attach it to death after death without proof. That's how misinformation spreads, and misinformation destroys lives. But because the conversation is already out there, we're going to walk through what people are claiming, how these stories got created, why so many fans believe them, and why others say they're complete nonsense. We're going to look at how street lore becomes internet lore, and how internet lore becomes the truth, even when it's not. And trust me, once you hear how these narratives get built, you'll never look at viral hip-hop claims the same way again. Sit back, smash that like and subscribe, spark one up, and get ready to hear this hyper-real hood story. Now let's start breaking down the actual names that keep getting pulled into these theories. Again, strictly as speculation, strictly as things that people online talk about, not confirmed facts, not proven connections, and not verified by any court. These are the names that internet investigators constantly stitch into the NBA YoungBoy web. And the wild part is how often those stories mutate every time they pass through a new channel. That's why responsible journalism matters, because one exaggeration becomes a headline, and one headline becomes a fact. The first name that always gets dragged into the conversation is G Money, one of the most talented artists to come out of Baton Rouge. His death in 2017 instantly became the centerpiece of online speculation because of the tension between him and YoungBoy. People saw the arguments, the personal shots, the emotional energy between them, and immediately decided there had to be a larger conspiracy behind his murder. But step back from the hype. Police never named YoungBoy as a suspect. There was no evidence tying him to the actual crime, and everything people circulated came from fans reading into lyrics and social media posts. But once the internet locked onto that story, it became part of the YoungBoy mythology, regardless of the real truth. The next major name is Dump, also known as DeAndre Fields, a close affiliate of YoungBoy who was killed in a separate incident. Dump's death added even more fuel to the fire because people online started connecting every tragedy in Baton Rouge to YoungBoy's orbit. Anytime someone associated with him got hurt or killed, rumor pages treated it like another chapter in their fictional storyline. In reality, Dump's situation was its own tragedy with its own causes, separate from internet narratives. But the way people discuss it makes it seem like everything is part of a master plot. And that's the exact problem with this new era of sensational content. Then there's BBG Baby Joe, who's been shot multiple times and been involved in several incidents. Because Baby Joe is so close to YoungBoy, every situation involving him gets folded into the bigger rumor storm. Fans start connecting dots that don't actually connect. They'll say, if someone went after Joe, that must mean they were part of a rivalry with YoungBoy, even when there's zero proof. But this is how myth-making works. Every event becomes a piece of a puzzle the internet invented. Another name that comes up often is NBA Big B, who's also been tied into multiple violent incidents online, even though the real stories behind those events are way more complicated. But complication doesn't go viral, simplicity does. So the internet reduces real human lives into a clean little formula. Friend of YoungBoy equals potential target. Enemy of YoungBoy equals potential suspect. It erases the nuance of street politics, personal conflicts, misunderstandings, and coincidence. And nuance is everything. Then you have Quando Rondo, whose own life has been shaped by extreme violence, especially after the King Von situation. Even though that event had nothing to do with Baton Rouge street politics, every major violent moment involving Quando gets retroactively attached to YoungBoy because they're close. It doesn't matter if the situations are unrelated. In the internet's mind, association equals evidence. And that's how these narratives balloon into something unrecognizable from reality. People also throw in TBG members, BBG members, and even random Baton Rouge names that weren't famous before these theories. Suddenly, every local tragedy becomes a YoungBoy-related story. Kids who weren't even rappers end up in YouTube thumbnails. Families who are mourning get turned into content. The internet has no filter. It just grabs whatever names it can and tosses them into the pot. But here's the key. These creators take 15 different isolated events, separate circumstances, and personal conflicts and mash them together into one giant storyline. Then they present it like a documentary. And because the production looks good, people believe it. Editing makes it feel real. Music makes it feel dramatic. Maps and arrows and timelines make it look like evidence. But that's not journalism. That's entertainment dressed as investigation. And that's why this conversation is so dangerous. You've got real families watching videos about their loved ones like it's a crime show. You've got teenagers thinking speculation equals proof. You've got fan bases fighting each other based on stories that aren't confirmed. And through all of that noise, real pain gets ignored. This is why breaking all this down matters. Not to fuel the drama, but to understand how it forms, how it spreads, and how it can shape the reputation of artists who are already dealing with enormous pressure in the public eye. And that brings us full circle. After looking at all these moving pieces, all the rumors, all the speculation, and all the responsibility that comes with covering stories in a culture this powerful, one thing becomes clear. None of this exists in a vacuum. Every name, every moment, every headline is connected to real lives, real consequences, and a real history that deserves to be handled with focus and care. Our goal here isn't to point fingers or pretend we have the final answer. It's to lay out the information, look at the patterns, acknowledge what's confirmed and what isn't, and give you a deeper understanding of how these narratives form in the first place. Because hip-hop is bigger than any single rumor. It's a community, a culture, and a responsibility. And when stories get loud, when speculation gets wild, somebody has to slow it down, break it apart, and look at it with clarity instead of chaos. So if you've been locked in this whole way through, thank you. Your time and your attention matter, and it's the reason we can keep doing this the right way. Now, if you want to stay ahead of the next update, make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you don't miss anything as the story continues to unfold. This situation is far from over, and the moment something shifts, we'll be right back here to break it down with accuracy, context, and respect for the culture. Drop a comment and let me know your thoughts, your theories, or even what angle you want covered next. The conversation doesn't end here. This community is part of the process. And with that, stay focused, stay informed, and stay safe. I'll see you in the next one.